So let's go ahead and walk through the strumming aspects of this lesson first, and then we'll take a look at these cool kind of walk downs and walk ups. So let's start with the G chord. The country strum isn't really like big open strumming like this. It has to do with kind of getting that bass and having it pop, sounding it more like this. Okay, so the place to start, we're going to start with the G chord, and you can play, you can do 2 fingers down here or just 1 finger down here. If you get that D in there, it's essentially identical, right? So it's really just a matter of preference and what's comfortable. And what you're going to do is you're going to use your pick to play the bass string first, and then you're going to strum down. Now you'll see in the tabs I have just the last 3 strings tabbed in there. That's not precise. You don't have to exactly make sure you only hit the G, B, and E strings, but you don't want to get that big, I strum the whole chord sound. Pluck, down, pluck, down. For this third beat, you want to play the open D string. 1, 2, 3. This one right here. Okay? Now that can be a little tricky to get precise, so take your time with it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It helps me if I get my hand on this bridge right here. I have a little more control instead of these big open strums. So I put my hand right here, and that way I can get a little palm muting going as well. So instead of being, I can tighten up and get this sound. And that's what you're going for at first. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you can get some other little like up strum in there, but I would call it a ghost strum. It's not that intentional. You pluck the bass, 1, 2, and then you just let the pick hit the strings on the way up. It's not a big intentional up strum. It's just this little baby ghost strum on the way up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you can hear me getting that tiny little up in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the strumming technique that you use over every single chord. The strings, though, change. Let's take a look at the C chord. You see what I'm doing with my fretting hand up here, left hand? I'm plucking, strumming, and then my bass hand comes up and moves from the 3rd fret of the A string to the 3rd fret of the E string. Just works really, really well with country. You're not limited to country, of course. In fact, I encourage experimentation and trying different things. A minor is the same strings, but you don't have to move any fingers. It's open A, open E. And you're kind of wondering, well, how does this work? Like, how can I just hit this E string if this E string isn't in my A minor chord? The A minor is an A note, an E note, and a C note. So E is a chord tone. In fact, you can play, if you want, all 6 strings for your A minor, and that would be what's known as an A minor / E, or an A minor with the 5th in the bass. So I'm using my thumb here to mute it when I'm not playing that low E. just making contact with that string to help keep things under control. Let's look at a handful more chords before we jump to the moving bass lines. The D chord. This one's an interesting one because it's the only chord we have with a root that's not on the A or the E strings. So we're doing D string, down, A string, down. And again, getting that little ghost up in there. A is also a chord tone of the D note, of the D chord. D major is D, F sharp, A. That's the fifth, in fact, so it's also a chord tone of D minor if you were to play it that way. E chord, same as the G. You're going to be playing this over the E strings and the D strings. This one's cool because this is actually another E note, so it's the octave. There's some other cool things that you can do with that one in terms of blues, but I'll save those ideas for a blues lesson. All right, A major, same as the A minor. B7. This is a fun one because we get that moving bass like we did on the C chord. So you make your B7, pluck the second fret of the A string down, and then you'll lift your middle finger and put it on the second fret of the E string. So let's talk about how to add some moving bass lines to this and give this whole concept just a little bit of extra life. Our first example is in the key of G, and three common chords you're going to see: the G, C, D, and G. You're going to see these together. Let's say hypothetically the key is B flat. No problem, put a capo on the third fret and you can still use these same ideas. That's why a capo is so beneficial. I think people go through phases with capos, like beginners overly rely on them. Then intermediate players are like, you don't need a capo, man. You can just play the bar chords if you're good. And then you kind of get out of that stage of thinking that you're good, realizing you're not that good. And then when you get better, you just realize a capo is a tool. And you can be a really, really good guitar player and still benefit from its use. All right, G. We're going to do pluck, down, 1, 2, then we're going to play the open A, second fret, third fret. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And so this is a transition that you use from the G to the C chord. Once we get to the C, we're going to pluck the bass, down, then we're going to play the third fret of the A string, second fret of the D string, which you're already fretting in the C chord, then the open D on the way to the D chord. So up to the D chord we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. D to the G, second fret of the A, open A, third fret of the E string, down on a G. So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Without counting, it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. I put a little riff at the end of all these, a little finishing riff if you want to. You could just, but I added this little finishing riff that goes. On that last measure, you go 1, 2, 3. Then on the fourth beat, you're gonna play 3, 2, open on the A, triplets, tripola, boom. Then just the G note, and strum through a G chord. If you can't do triplets, these are just fun little endings. You don't have to play them. It just adds a little something something to the end of these. And the way it works is you're playing 4 notes, or you're playing 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, in the space of that quarter time. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 bola, 1. 1, 2, 3, tripola, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the whole example. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if hypothetically, let's say the G chord were 2 measures instead of 1, you would 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and so forth. These are when you're changing from one to the other one. All right, let's bring up groove number 2. Groove number 2. Okay, so this one's a little different. We're using eighth notes for the first time in this exercise. So far, everything that we've been doing has been quarter notes. And that's because I've designed this lesson for beginners out there. I want you to be able to keep pace with this really kind of no matter what your level is. But I also want to show you that you can take these ideas further than just quarter notes. You're going to play the bass note, and then you're going to go down, up, down. So it's 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Try not to rush that, because where people get in trouble is they go 1 and they strum just too quick. Make sure you 2 and 3. 1, 2, and 3. After that, we're also going to do the lick in eighth notes, so it goes 4 and 1. 1, 2, and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2, and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3. Third fret, second fret, open. Same riff, but again it's 4 and 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3. Same lick again, 4 and 1, 2, 3, tripola, 1, 2, 3, 4. Play through the whole example and let's count it, and then we'll do it without counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, tripola, 1, 2, 3, 4. Our first time in the key of C, and this one's going to go C, F, G, C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, and then our lick here is 0, 2, 3 on the D string. If you're floating around in the pick land here and you're trying to find that D string and you feel like it's lost, use your middle finger, which is on the D string, to kind of help your pick hand have a little frame of reference. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. F to G, second fret of the A string, open, 3, boom. All of these notes that we're using to link the chords are from the scale. So C, F, G, all comes from the key of C. And all these notes we're using, D, E, C, come from the key of C. B, A, G, key of C. So you can, even if you know the scale C major, you can start to create and invent your own ways to connect these. These are basic, common country sounds, but you're really only limited by your creativity. You can use the scale to create as many of these ideas as you want and make them as unique as you want. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. We're going to finish with another triplet if you want. It's the bonus challenge. 3rd fret of the E string, open A, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, down. Triple L 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, triple L 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. One more example, last one more key, the key of E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Our triplet for this one at the end is going to be fun too. Okay, open E, down, and then we're going to play open, but we're going to use 8th notes again. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So we're going to play these 2 and 4 as 4 and 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. Then we're going to do something we haven't done yet either. 0, 1, 2. This 1st fret here, this note, we're in the key of E, but this note here is not in the key of E, right? This is what's called a passing tone. And you can use notes that are not in the scale or not in the key if you just kind of touch on them quickly to connect 2 ideas. That's exactly what we're doing here. In fact, the note we're using, this note as a passing tone, is the note that turns a scale into a blues scale, which is pretty interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and, well, quarter notes here. 3, 4, 1, 2. So up to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Quarter notes, but we're running through 4 notes this time. 2 full beats. 2nd fret, open, 4, 2, open. 3 and 4 and 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3. Triple R down. Our triplet for this one is up here because we're going to finish on the high E. Just to give it a little twist, have a little fun, show you that you can be inventive and find these notes in other places. Open B, 2nd fret, 4th fret, open E. Triple A do. Okay, so 1 time counting, 1 time not counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2. Triple A 1. Okay, without counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, without counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, without counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. All right, without counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. without counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, folks, that's it. So you can add a little bit of country action to your strum. Note that you can take this a lot further if you want to. This is just a foundation. These are just some basic ideas. This is just where you get started. This is just kind of introducing you to the concept. Remember that too as well, we're using the scale to connect these chords. So if we're in E major, we use the E major scale. C major, we use the C major scale. G, we use the G major scale. And if you know the scale, you can definitely start to experiment and take it to a whole new level. All right, catch you next Monday for our next guitar tutorial.